Hi, I'm Jenny from Ironbridge Printmakers, and this is a tutorial, a quick walkthrough showing you how to use our registration pins and our tabs to do reduction and multiple plate. Our registration pins, these are metal, steel, and we lacquer them, so they'll last you a lifetime. And these pins here are designed so that our tabs, which is Mylar, sit perfectly over them. And they will click on, and they really do hold ever so well. They're brilliant. One either end of on your board of the plate you're printing, you'll get brilliant registration. So for this registration system, what we need to do is we need to secure the plate, stop that from moving, and secure the paper, and we have to stop that from moving. And the way that we do that is with sticking the block down to a piece of board. Now we can use MDF, we could use styrene, anything that's substantial. We don't want to use anything that's really thin. Now we double side tape the plate down onto a piece of board. We can use double side tape, or we can use glue, or if we do multiple plate, we'll want to replace the plate. So we can build up around this. We can use pieces of MDF or mount board so that we create a hole for the block to just sit in. It has to be quite tight to keep it in place. And we also want to make sure it's not too high as well. So it can't be higher or as high as the block. It has to be lower. A lot of the time when I do this, I want to ink my plate up in on the plate here. I don't have to keep taking it out every time. So if this piece around is lower, it won't ink up. And then we use our registration pins. These are sellotaped to the board. This is just a mock-up that works quite well to show you how to do it. And then the tabs themselves are put onto the piece of paper so that every single time the paper goes back on and off, they sit on perfectly, which means the paper goes back on and off in exactly the same position every single time. Now if you pop it through your press like this way, it means that the paper's held both sides, so it will hold it in place. So I thought I'd just show you how to put the paper on. So once we put the tabs on, our block's in the middle, our paper we cut so it sits just inside these pins, and then these registration tabs click on, and then we can sellotape. Now I do believe you can get frog tape that comes off really nicely and doesn't mark the paper, but depending on which paper you use, sellotape will work an absolute treat. You just want to make sure you use enough sellotape because you don't want these tabs coming off if you've done 20 colours. So that now is perfect. You just have to make sure you remember to write top on, otherwise you could get in a bit of trouble. Okay, so the next thing we need to talk about is how to set the press up using runners. Our gunning etching presses are fantastic because you can fit really thick plates in between the rollers, and we provide a free set of runners with each press, because etching presses don't like to go up and over big steps. 2 rollers, and in the middle you've got a bed, and as soon as you come to something that's thicker than 3 mil thick, it just doesn't want to go up that step. And that's why for years and years we've provided a free set of runners, 4 mil thick runners, free with every single press that we sell. Now our runners range is very good. We sell plastic runners. They are for life, unless you do something very bad to break them. The runners are for life, so they come from 2 mil thick all the way up to 35 mil thick. However, in our presses, you can print up to above 8 centimeters, which is really fantastic. This registration system works with other presses as well. You just need to make sure that your top roller will lift as high as you need it to go. Okay, so setting the press up, all we need to do is drop the top roller down onto our runners so that we can run along the runners, and then we use packing paper to pack up to the top roller. I'll show you. If you get your roller in the middle of the bed, make sure you can turn the Tommy bar so it's not in the way of the wheel. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. And what will happen, these two will feel the same. So as you turn them, they will get strong together, they'll get heavier together. You just want to drop this top roller down so it grabs the runners. It doesn't want to be heavy. This is just setting the press so that you can just run along these runners. So it should run really, really nice and smoothly. And when you're using our presses, this is the direct drive press. It's really nice to be able to pull the wheel towards you. Now, from your angle where you're watching this, you can see underneath the press. You can see underneath the press bed. You can see here, there's a gap. Now, these are 8mm thick runners, which means I have an exact gap between the bed. This bed and the top roller is 8mm thick, which is brilliant. Now, if I use 4mm thick runners, I will have obviously 4mm between the plate and the top roller. Now, we want to always make sure that we use runners that are slightly higher than the plate that we're printing. The reason is we want to use packing paper. Now, the packing paper will do all the moving around, but the plate and the paper will stay together. And if they do move, they will move together because you're using the registration pins. So the next thing is how to print. So this will go, your plate on the board, and the reg pins will go directly onto here after you've inked up. See how they sit in between the runners. Your paper with the tabs, you'll put these onto your tabs. The far two go on first, drop it down, and those two will just click on nicely. And then it's your packing paper. So you will need to work out how many sheets of packing paper. Packing paper just sits on top here. And then you do a print, you pull it through. Now, if you're using the direct drive press, you can just pull it through. With our geared press, you can pull it through as well, but our geared press, you can have a handle on it as well. And you can use both presses to print. And it's just that continuous movement that you want to pull it through the press. Right, so once you've pulled it through, lift your packing paper up, grab one of the tabs and pull it straight up and off the other side. That way you won't get any smudging. And then we check out the print to see if we've got enough packing paper on, because this is just the first proof print. Now, if it's too light, you'll notice straight away. And it doesn't mean to say these here are too light. It means to say that we haven't got enough packing paper on. If it's too heavy, you've got too much packing paper on. And one piece of paper will make all of the difference. So it's really important to mention about the type of ink you use during this, any of these printing processes. The reason is because a lot of safe wash inks like to be a little bit too runny. Now, if you apply a safe wash ink with a soft roller, you'll end up putting too much ink on. Whereas if you are using safe wash ink and you're using a hard roller, you will probably put the right amount of ink on. However, the ink can still be too runny, which means the paper can move around a little bit on the surface of the print when you're printing on the press. Now, if that's the case, it's an easy fix. You can add magnesium into the ink, just a little bit, and as you mix it in, you'll see that it gets stiffer. Or you can use our extender. Our extender is really thick, so it'll make the ink thicker. Or you can just use traditional oil-based inks. Our inks, this roller's inked up. You can see it's a really, really lovely purple. This is one of our new colours. Our inks, we make Iron Bridge ink. This is our lovely Wisteria Stay Open inks, oil-based, easy to clean up with a rag and printmaker's cleaner. So that is the walkthrough of how to use our registration pins for multiple plate and for reductions. I hope that's helped. If you've got any other questions or you need any other information, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye.